So talking about that, we are in the networking or networks like space, right? And this is something that I know that you are very interested in, how networks are created and how people get together, talking like through Zoom or grabbing a coffee together, but this is how like networks grow. And because of what we were saying in the beginning, the trend is changing. So maybe the way we were used to network is going to shift and change, like for good, or maybe for some time, and it's going to open new opportunities, right? So many times we hear about this like 7 degrees of separation and this hypothesis, right? We are like 7 degrees of any person that we want to make. And Facebook like demonstrated like, thank you, the gap is like 3.5-ish. So do you think there's room to make it better? Because it's like, well, not everybody has Facebook, right? And actually, as Snapchat and TikTok, there's a trend right now, or in the last like month, Facebook was like a huge going up trend like years ago. And now, I don't know, but not everybody has Facebook. So what do you think about that? There's still room to make it better?
Oh yeah. Oh God. Yeah, no. The future for connecting, I think one, it's gonna get a lot better and possibly a lot worse.
Okay.
What I mean by a lot better is right now, I don't know of a system that will, I mean, you hear LinkedIn and that your third degree connections from this person.
Mm-hmm.
Great. This person can introduce you to this person. But I'm waiting for that program that goes, if you want to talk to, you just type in a random name. We'll say
John Smith.
John Smith. No, let's do someone famous. Let's do
okay.
Keanu Reeves. Okay,
I'm
just thinking because I mean, wasn't he supposed to have another Matrix movie coming out or something, and it got delayed? But say I want to talk to Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's a third degree or fourth degree connection. Who knows? But right now it just says, you're connected through this person, this person, this person. But maybe I have my second degree connections. There's 200. My third degree connections. Who knows? But it would be great to have the recommendation of not only he's your third or fourth degree connection, but who actually would be the best person to contact so and so to contact him based on their conversation history.
Yeah.
Maybe it would say, if you talk to Bob Smith and ask for an intro, you have a 20% chance of the intro going well. But if you talk to Michael Smith, you have
cousin.
you got like how creative these names are. You talk to Michael Smith, you actually have an 80% chance of him responding yes to a phone call or a coffee meeting based on their prior chat history. I mean, right now, LinkedIn and these platforms will say you're connected through, 2 intermediaries. Or, I mean, my LinkedIn, I have, 6 people on my LinkedIn. And I'll look at someone and I'll go, oh my gosh, I have 200 connections to this one person. And I would like an intro. But I don't know of those 200 who has the highest probability of getting me a yes to meet that person. Of those 200, I don't know if 190 of them are just added on LinkedIn from a conference that they went to and they've never actually talked. I don't know of those 100, those 200, who's actually a close buddy, close friend of this person I want to meet. And this person actually trusts this person's opinion. So it would be great if there's the algorithm going, you want to meet this person, you have 200 possibilities, but in reality, you only have 5 possibilities. And of those 5, these are the 3 that we would highly recommend based on their interactions currently in the past, and maybe even their probability of them staying connected in the future based on, these 3 people always follow up. These people have the longest interactions with their network or who knows. Or, I mean, it's at a level where it's nice right now, but it could definitely improve. But at the same time, it could get so much worse because.
Well, but think about this. But because you're saying, okay, I'm going to get an intro for Keanu Reeves, but maybe let's go one step further. Maybe you just want to meet him but actually maybe the algorithm finds a better person for you to get introduced, and you don't even, I mean, what if the algorithm say to you, hey, you should meet this person? So instead of like you thinking, oh, who I can get an intro to get to that one, instead of that, it's like you receive, because this is something that we do all the time, right? If now because of this conversation, you think, oh no, Sergio, you know, I think I'm going to make an intro with you with John Smith. And this is came from like ShawnFlynn mind. And what do? You're going to write down an email saying, hey, Sergio, meet John Smith because I believe both of you have certain things in common, blah, 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 right? We do this all the time. We make those kind of like intros all the time, but it's based on our mind trying to do this connection between two persons that may have certain things, and not only in common, because John Smith can help Sergio in certain way and Sergio can help John in certain ways. It's fun and it's great to have like people in common, like meet people that kind of like the same profile as you, but at the end of the day, you want to do new stuff with people who can add value to you, right? So, I mean, our mind, and this is like a super deeper conversation, right? But I think it's like, if we like expand our potential, it should be like better than any computer or any AI. But we know we are using only like 5% or 10%. It's a lot of work to use more of our brain. That's why we invented AI. My point here is like, we are not always in this put people in contact like mindset, right?
Oh, yeah.
And not everybody's like that, right? We like to do networking, we like people, and usually we do this kind of like connections in our mind, and then we start writing an email, an intro, right? But would be better, especially for people who are not used to this kind of like networking, to work in this networking space, to they receive an intro or they receive like straight from the algorithm. It's like, hey, let's say we are both connected, and the algorithm realized that from my network, I should introduce you X, John Smith, because John can provide exactly what you're looking for. So I'm going to receive an email saying, Sergio, you should put in contact Sean with Sean. And he's like, oh, okay, yes. This is exact. Oh, how I didn't realize that both they should like do business together or something. So it's, and what do you say about can be worse?
Oh God. Well, I want to continue this, what we just said. I mean, I would think it would be amazing in the future, once again, scary, if you were just to type in, this is what I'm looking for, this is what would benefit my company. And then the algorithm then searches your network, makes the introductions for you. But not only that, it actually calculates who you should do work with based on future possibility outcomes as well.
Who can provide the things you're looking for
not only now, but maybe in the future. Like, for example, maybe Bob and Tim both have a similar product, and maybe Tim's price is a little bit cheaper now, but based on search history or that results of Bob, even though Tim's price is 10% cheaper, Bob's quality of service and the customers he worked with last with him 5x longer than Tim. Tim changes jobs every 2 years, where Bob doesn't change job. You want to have a relationship with Bob because his relationship long-term will be more beneficial for your company than the short-term 5% win with Tim. Now imagine if it gets to that level, where everything is kind of being decided and calculated for you. So, I mean, then that goes into what's the future, how is this scary? One, as an individual, you may not know what the algorithm's basing its decisions on. And you might get blocked out of the market completely for reasons you have no idea. I mean, you may be this,
if you rely a lot in the algorithm, that's my point. Is that we should never remove the human factor here. That's what you're saying.
Well, no, I'm saying that what if the algorithm blackballs you? I'm serious on this one. What happens if, like, maybe you send an email, or someone else sends an email from your account, or something like that, or something happens one instance, and then you get a little mark on your profile for these computers, and you're always in second place, or you're always in third place. I mean, if the algorithm's always going to go to that number one top, how do you ever compete? How do you move back up? How do you get your social placement back up to where you can survive, support yourself, your family? Do you have to switch careers? Who tells you you have to switch careers?
Yeah.
Who tells you you have to change these skill sets or get these skill sets? So the algorithm then starts placing you back where you're competitive with the competition. I mean, there's so much unknown with what possibly could happen in that situation. I mean, I had a interview with Andreas Ramos, and we talked about voice command and how when you go to Google, find me a plumber, they find you one. Like right now we look at a search page and we have options, but when you're only given one, that's it. And people are lazy / TikTok. They're just going to say yes to that one. They're not going to do any more research. So how does that one person become one? Is it because of the budget from marketing? Is it because of the...
Yeah, well, but
what could happen in the future, though? You get one bad review, you're never one again. Or, I mean, we have no idea. This realm is something we've never been in, and it's going to be interesting what happens. So that's the bad side of it, I would say.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, think about this. This is kind of like exactly the example what you just said. It's kind of like something that is already happening, right? It's like one of my previous startups, like many years ago, the idea was to rank exactly that when you search for a plumber based on success, based on how good this guy is. Because now if you're first, you know why you're getting first. It's even because you are paying for ads and on top of that, is because you're following the tech commandments of the big giant, right? You need to have your website in this way, and you need to be responsive in that way. So because I'm a plumber and I'm able to pay a little bit more for my website, and I spend some dollars on SEO and blah, 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 that doesn't mean I'm a better plumber, right? I just did my job. So going back to your point, this is what it's already happening when I do a search, but nobody realized that the first result doesn't mean that that company, that service, that product is the best. And what is best? Because if we go deeper, okay, maybe you're looking the cheapest. Maybe you're looking for the one who is closer to you. Maybe you're looking for the high rank price, whatever. So that's best for you. And for me, best is a different thing. So the algorithm is setting this rank first and foremost based on, oh no, because this page has more links to that page. That doesn't mean that person is a good plumber at all. So to your point, well, actually the idea that I abandoned for now is, it's there in one drawer, is to set like a search engine that can rank based on real achievements. So it's not based, oh, you have a better website or no, it's like this guy has 100 positive reviews and he's closer where I am, and compared with other prices, I can select a range of prices. What's best for me, right? And every single person is different. So this best, it's very, very different from person to person. But I love where you're going, and I love this kind of like conversation, because it's like going back to the point when people is used to use certain service, this is a standard, right? And my kids, oh no, I need to find something. Oh, let's search on internet. That doesn't mean that that's the law or that's right because it's online. Who said that? There's no standard, but especially for new generations, what everybody's doing, it's right. And if it's online, it's more right, it's better, right? So it's kind of like, it's more strong and stronger than the law, than the government. It's online, so it's done deal, right? So it's super weird, but at the flip side, I love what you're saying. This kind of like, we need to stop a little bit, think about what we're doing, and actually what we are getting is just because we are used to use certain platform, and it's easier because I don't want to spend more time doing my research, and because everybody's using it. But actually, this is exactly what I need or what I want. So I think this human approach never lose what the user is looking for, what is best for them, what they're trying to achieve. What you said, oh, maybe you should like get introduced to this person and not to that person, because for your goals, for your history, and for his history or her history. I mean, I think if we find a way to keep those algorithms more human related, how a human should like think, uh, maybe we can find something, because the amount of connections we can get, all the traces, all the connections we can do, they are like much broader and more chances to like improve people's lives, right? But
Oh yeah.
it's I don't want to say it's sci-fi, it's today, right?
Well, I
So
mean, I think throughout history we've done that. We've tried to create our own tribes where it's, you know everyone really well, you know everything that's going on, you have those lines of connection among everyone, and it's deep.
mhm.
And then, now with commuting, moving every couple of years, and that we've kind of lost that tribe mindset, and now we're trying to create our tribe digitally. So
Totally.
I mean, once again, as we talked about before, life is entrepreneurs, life is in
Ups
anything,
and
you have
downs.
ups and downs, ups and downs. I think that's a trend in networking and connections as well, from
Mm.
close connection to know everyone to close connections to know everyone. Close connections are always expanding, contracting, expanding, contracting. But no. I mean, and RedLINES is a great tool to use to do all this.
Yeah,
And do a
totally.
plug. I had to do a plug for you.
Well, yeah. I remember, and a couple of months ago, maybe more, I want to get introduced to one person, and of course, you search on LinkedIn, and let's say it's in your network. So it was on ShawnFlynn's network, and I check, is oh great. So I asked Shawn, hey Shawn, do you mind to do an intro to X for John Smith? And Shawn answered me, and you answer me. It's like, well, yeah, I accepted him on LinkedIn. Yeah, hey, but you went to the same like college. It's like you said you both went to the same college. Yeah, but actually I don't know him. I just accept him because we went to the same college. It's kind of like, well, we live in the same neighborhood, right? So my point is like, what's the benefit of having hundreds of contacts that you can actually like leverage those contacts or connections, not only for me but for my network? I mean, yeah. So they are there, and maybe I can take use. I can like, so I mean, maybe Shawn can like ask for something for John Smith, but not something so big that is going to add something for Sergio. So there's kind of like a wall there. There are connections that you feel comfortable asking for something for somebody else, which is that's the ultimately goal. Yeah, these 2 or 3 degrees of separation. But at the same time, there are many more. I would say, I don't know, 20% and 80%. Let's say 80 that they are just there, that maybe Shawn can like reach and ask for something because both went to the same college, but not like a deep relation enough to actually work there and build something like a real meaningful collection. So I think there's a gap there for like, I don't feel comfortable like introducing you, Shawn. Like, I don't know him, but so I think there's something there. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh God, I mean, when you're saying 80/20 for LinkedIn, I'd probably say about 90% of the people on LinkedIn, maybe 95. I really have no
Probably,
clue.
probably.
I, I remember there's one startup. They were like, Shawn, I went through your LinkedIn because I've told people if I work with them and have a strong connection, if you need an intro to any of my network, just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
We've built this bond over the years. And she's like, yeah, I want intros to like this. Literally, it was like 50 angel investors. And she's
Mm-hmm.
going through my LinkedIn. I was like, I don't know who that person is. Don't know who that person is. Don't know that. And literally, maybe of that 55, I was like, oh yeah, he's cool. I know him. He's a good guy. But she still messaged all of them through, she's like, please send this to all of them. So we sat there for like 2 hours and
Yeah.
messaged all of them. literally the 5 that are like, he's a good guy, they responded. The other, nope. So,
No, but
that
still
was
they are
it.
part of your network, right?
Yeah,
It's
exactly,
weird. It's
exactly.
weird. But there's a lot of so what I'm trying to like say here is like there's a lot of room for innovation there, and if we can find the way to match in certain way that every party is going to feel comfortable and confident that the matches are working smoothly for everybody's benefit, I think we can open a huge amount of opportunities, right? And talking about opportunities, how important, I mean, you have a lot of like experience working as startup mentor and interviewing like the biggest names in Silicon Valley in your podcast. So what do you think, and did you learn there's kind of like a pattern on how networks open doors to success? Because we're talking about the innovative, the creative, and the disruption, but how networks add this extra thing for achieve a path of success.
Oh man, I don't want to say networks are everything, but good God, they are important. I mean, that's more than anything. I realized that through my podcast, and I can give you. Is it okay to give a few examples?
Of course.
Okay, so I interviewed Jim McKelvey, the co-founder of Square, and I was on this big podcast platform. I mean, they get 1 million downloads a month. In my mind, they have a ton of access, and they said, oh, they'd reached out to him a few times. They weren't able to get him, and I was at coffee, and I met this journalist who we went back and forth. She wrote a Medium article for me, and I gave her a thank you. And then out of nowhere, she's like, "Do you want to interview Jim McKelvey?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "Oh, I know their PR person. Do you want me to do an intro?" I was like, "Yeah." And then she did an intro. 2 weeks later, I had Jim McKelvey an hour and a half of his time where we're doing an interview. And I'm just looking at it going, okay, so I'm able to get this.
Here? What just
yeah. I'm able to get this billionaire's time. And we went back and forth in email with the questions and all that. And an hour and a half of his time, just based on one person knowing someone who's connected to him that he trusts. Whereas, these other groups that have so much more resources, so much, weren't able to get a response. And that's all because of network. And other people that I've interviewed, I mean, I've interviewed Melanie Perkins, founder of Canva, Scott Kearns, founder of Juniper Networks. One of my favorites is, there's a gentleman I interviewed, Alan Tien, who represented, he was the lead for PayPal when eBay went to China. And I mean, this guy's career is just absolutely amazing. But I asked him, I was like, can you make some intros for me for my podcast? I really want to interview some people. He's like, hold on, wait 1 second. This was a Saturday. Okay, a Saturday at noon when I had a quick call with him. He's like, give me 20 minutes. And I thought he was being sarcastic. Within 20 minutes, I had a personal intro and a response from the CEO of Upwork, the CEO or the founder of Rotten Tomatoes, Patrick Lee, the assistant for the CEO of Veeam, they've raised like 83 million, and the co-founder of, or either there's co-founder or there's some high person up that later on, a week later, got me contact with the CEO of Point, which is 130. They raised 130 million. So I mean, this is just one guy because of his network. And because all these people trust him and they know him, and he trusts and knows me from our interview, that he's like, I feel comfortable making this intro. I mean, that's the power of a network. And it doesn't surprise me when some of these people, they get to this level and then all these doors seem to open up for them because they're at that networking level where people like, know, and trust them at this level. And it's just amazing. Sergio, with that though, it's 9:30. I know my phone's going to ring in a second. This call's quick, which it could only be a 5-minute team call. We can continue if that's okay with you. My next call is at 10, and then after that, I'm free from 11 on. Wi-Fi seems to be working good here for me today. What's your schedule like?
Well, no, I would say that was the last question we have in our schedule. So maybe we can just like wrap up. We can like jump into like a short one and wrap up, like do some kind of like conclusion, and that would be it. If you want to share, and I want to hear what you have to say about your next goals. So I want to like wrap up with your final words about what you're doing
Okay.
and that stuff. But from my side, I'm pretty done. So
Well,
whatever you
let's until I get this call, let's continue. Let's wrap it up then.
go. So
Okay.
Sean, it's super cool to have this conversation with people who has this kind of like open mindset, and it's always like growing and knowing more people and try to like get introduced like, to new concepts. I just love talking to you. So give me a little bit of like what's going on in your life, where you're going to lunch, what you're going into, because all of this knowledge came from someplace. So what are you doing now? What are you going to do? I can see like a background there. I want to know what's going on.
So right now, we are about to launch in the next few days the Silicon Valley podcast. So it's a rebrand of the podcast I was on another platform. We're taking all the content, rebrand and repackage it, doing new intros, new everything for this new show. It's pretty exciting. I mean, some of the names that we've already interviewed, I mentioned Jim McKelvey, Patrick Lee, Melody Perkins, Scott Kearns. The list goes on and on. Some of the people we have lined up in the future are also pretty big name VIPs. With that, I mean, we are also launching on Himalaya. We got a lot of good things lined up for us to grow the audience, grow the knowledge base. I mean, because my whole goal with this is there's so much knowledge and experience in Silicon Valley that the rest of the world currently doesn't have access to. And I
Mm-hmm.
would like to change that. I would like someone in the most remote areas of the world to be able to you know reach inside the brains of some of the most successful investors, entrepreneurs on the planet, and ask them questions. So there's a lot of things that are going on with me. Another thing I'm working on right now is I'm working on an ebook on how to build a brand in 30 days, or it might be called How to Network Your Way to Success in 30 Days. I don't really have the exact title yet, but it's part of this staying at home on lockdown, having all these Zoom calls, talking to people where, as unfortunately as it sounds, there's a lot of people that have been laid off and they've come to me and say, Sean, you have a good network. Can you introduce me to these people? With me going, okay, you're going to have to rebrand yourself. You're going to have to let the world know that you're trying to do something new. Let's kind of brainstorm how to go about doing it. And I actually had a call with a VP of a fairly large company that was saying, hey, he wants to, rebrand himself, do some consulting that, and he liked what I was doing with the podcast. And then that was what really triggered the idea of, oh my gosh, if this guy that has all this access to these top marketers and that is saying he likes what I'm doing, I must have something,
I'm into
who knows?
something here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a little niche, I have one
Mm-hmm.
follower, one fan.
There you
So I
go.
want to
You
take
have
some
niche.
knowledge too. Thank you. And put it in an ebook and share that. But yeah, so right now that's on the horizon for me is the podcast, Silicon Valley podcast, the ebook. And then there's definitely some other transitions that are going on in my life. But I mean, that's it. That's all for now. And then, using RedLINES, it's going to be a part in the ebook. So I hope all your listeners, when the ebook's done, I can share it with you and you can share it with them, especially for the networking. I mean, I love the QR code, and one scan connects you to what you want of the social media platforms that you want to share and everything else. It's pretty cool, especially like right now where my business cards, I can't get them because they're sent to the office and I can't go to the office.
You can.
So
Actually, you're not even having like in meeting, like
yeah,
person meetings, right? It's like, so what you're going to hand to me?
yeah, no, but I can put my phone or a QR to the screen and someone can scan it and have access to the platforms that I want them to. Or, I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely ways that because, everything's digital now that,
You can send
you
like a
know,
link on the chat anyway. It's like, yeah,
uh,
many ways, right?
but I can take this. But Sergio, I gotta thank you for having me on your show and for all the time. And I look forward to all the success of RedLINES in the future and everything that you're working on.
We'll see. Sean, it was like you were one of the persons like who embraced me when I came here. It's like you're an amazing person, amazing human being. You share with me thousands of tons of like knowledge and experience. This is something that I'm always going to be like grateful for. And I hope you just the best with this. And you know that you can count on us, whatever thing you need for your new shows and ebooks or whatever. So thank you very much for your time, actually. And probably you have to jump in another call, right? And me too.
Actually, yeah, I'm late, so my apologies. All right, Sergio. Thank you for today. All right, talk to you soon.
Bye.